dual clutch 2016 Acura ILX. Catch it if you can.
Munenori Kawasaki is back in the house. He has been called up from AAA Buffalo, and he is playing tonight at second base. The Mariners also are in Rogers Center. Robinson Cano, he too will play second base. Lloyd McClendon's team scuffling a bit right now. They're 4 games under 500 at 18-22. Let's take a look at their lineup. Brad Miller, Seth Smith, and Robinson Cano, top 3 in the order. Then the cleanup man, he is on fire. Nelson Cruz for the season hitting .351. Last year against the Blue Jays, he had .333, 3 homers and 14 RBIs, and that is a cool season for Cruz against the Blue Jays. Wellington Castillo was just acquired on May 19th from the Chicago Cubs. He's got good numbers against the Blue Jays starter Marco Estrada. 6 for 21 with 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. They brought him in to provide a little more offense and insurance as a backup catcher.
Yeah, they're only hitting .240 as a ball club this year. Marco Estrada will take the mound. This is his 4th start of the season after 6 relief appearances. He's 0-2 since joining the Blue Jays starting rotation, coming off his best performance of the season. 3 hits, 2 earned runs with 8 strikeouts against the Astros. He left that game with the lead, but still picked up a no decision in that game against the Astros. There are his numbers overall this season in his 10 appearances.
We had mentioned the Blue Jays have had 3 good starts in a row, and Marco Estrada would love to build upon that. Aaron Sanchez, Drew Hutchison, and R.A. Dickey, 3 real good starts. Now Blue Jays want to make it 4 in a row tonight. This is Brad Miller playing in center field. He's leading off, goes after the first pitch and taps it right back to the mound. 1 pitch, 1 out for Estrada. Now let's take a look at the defense, and this defense has really been in flux of late because of an assortment of injuries. Ezequiel Carrera is in left field, Kevin Pillar is in center, and Chris Colabello starts for the 11th time in right. Danny Valencia is at third base, just his 3rd start at third. Goins and Kawasaki up the middle, and Encarnacion at first, and Russell Martin back behind the dish for Marco Estrada.
You talk about the team in flux defensively. This is the 4th second baseman the Blue Jays have used this year. Devin Travis goes on the disabled list. There's Munenori Kawasaki just up from Buffalo.
Travis is on a DL. It's been backdated to the 17th of May. He's eligible to come off on June 1st. So he got a cortisone shot. They want him to quiet it down and get healthy before he returns. So Munenori Kawasaki is back with the Blue Jays. This is Seth Smith. He's the left fielder. Ball and a strike to the big left-handed hitter. Smith has bounced around a bit. He spent 5 years with the Rockies, a couple of years in Oakland. Last year he's with San Diego.
Picked up to get some depth into the outfield, and he's off to a pretty decent start. 10 RBIs and 4 home runs. He's a dangerous hitter. Very aggressive at the plate.
Oakland traded Smith to San Diego for Luke Gregerson, and now they don't have Gregerson or Seth Smith. 1-2. There's that curveball. Curveball's been real good the last 2 starts for Estrada.
Yeah, I talked to Marco the day after he pitched that game down in Houston when he had the 8 strikeouts. And he said the curveball was much better. I think I can throw it a little bit more consistently for strikes. That time he bounced it up there. But it's a very good combination. I think the curveball and his changeup, his 2 off-speed pitches, are both above average.
Marco Estrada making a couple of plays to start the game. That was a liner right back to the mound. 2 up, 2 down.
Let's take a little closer look at tonight's starter for the Toronto Blue Jays, Marco Estrada. What he will use, fastball about 48% of the time. And batters have hit just .214 off of that. There's the changeup. That is the pitch that is really his bread and butter. It's one of the best changeups you will see in baseball. He's got great arm action on it. Got the curveball also to hit .250 against that. Occasionally he will cut the fastball, but mostly it's those 3 pitches.
Robinson Cano batting just .264. Cano in his 2nd season with the Mariners. He signed a 10-year contract for $240 million to play in Seattle. His first 9 years in the big leagues, all with the Yankees.
You know, it's really interesting. There's a cutter right there from Estrada. Went to Seattle last year. first year of that contract and have one home run about this time in the season last year. And here we are again, the end of May, and he still has one home run.
Seattle's a big ballpark.
Big ballpark.
And he, of course, played in Yankee Stadium, both versions of Yankee Stadium, and it was a, short porch in right.
Hitter's delight for left-handed hitters. Not so in Seattle. But I imagine when it's all said and done, he's going to have the great numbers that he has every year. When you can hit, you can hit. It doesn't matter where you do it. And this guy right here, he can hit.
3-1, 2 outs. Fouled off. Floyd McClendon told me during batting practice he'll match up his 3, 4, and 5 hitters against any 3, 4, and 5 in baseball. He said you got lefty, righty, lefty, and they're all good hitters. They're all good against tough pitching.
They hit good pitching. They hit for high average, and the run producers.
Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Kyle Seager. Three-2. Fly ball to right. Colabello is there. 3 up, 3 down for Estrada in the first. Good start. Felix Hernandez will go to the mound against the Blue Jays. He has a 5-6 record against the Jays for his career. Scored Anaheim 23-15 in those 4 games, and they're trying to build some momentum and get closer to that 500 mark. Take a look at the lineup. No Josh Donaldson tonight. Ezequiel Carrera is leading off. Jose Bautista, his numbers against King Felix are pretty good. A .333 average with 2 home runs. And right behind him, Edwin Encarnacion against the Mariners. Over 39 games, has 10 home runs and 27 RBIs. Pretty good 1-2 punch in the 2 or 3 spots in the order.
He did a home run in last night's game, did Encarnacion. This is the 10th big league season for Felix Hernandez, and he just turned 29 years old last month. Been around a long time, but he has put up great numbers in his time in the big leagues. He lost his first game of the season his last time out to drop his record to 6-1. 10th start here at Rogers Center for Hernandez, where he's an ordinary 4-4 here in Toronto.
He's had some of his best games here and some of his worst games here. This is Carrera. He cuts on the pitch. It's a ball on the strike. Ezequiel Carrera hitting in the leadoff spot. He's playing in left field tonight. He's 1 for 8 against Felix Hernandez. On the ground, Cano takes his time. 1 down. Defensively, a couple of new looks for the Mariners tonight. Seth Smith is in left field. Brad Miller is the shortstop. He's playing in center field for the first time in his career. Nelson Cruz is in right. He's a good outfielder. Gold Glover at third base is Kyle Seager, Chris Taylor, Robinson Cano, and Logan Morrison around the infield. Mike Zunino is behind the plate. Jose Bautista.
You know, you mentioned the Gold Glover at third base. He's played 166 consecutive games. That's the 4th longest active streak in Major League Baseball. Kyle Seager won the Gold Glove last year, the 2nd Mariner to win a Gold Glove as a third baseman. The other one, Adrian Beltre.
Beltre has 4 Gold Gloves in the American League. He won in 7 and 8, and then won again in 11 and 12. 0-2 to Bautista. Big curveball in the dirt. The Gold Gloves have been interesting at third base. Eric Chavez won 6 Gold Gloves for Oakland, and then Beltre won his 2. Longoria won 2 in a row. Beltre again 2 more. Then Machado and Seager. Quite a good group of third basemen in the American League now.
Yeah, the active players too who are still playing, and it's Kyle Seager who won the Gold Glove last year. This is a very good defensive team, I think. Cano at second base is sensational. Seager, Zunino behind the plate. He's a rock.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Bautista. Curveball on the inside corner. Looked like it might have been off the plate inside. Hernandez gets the strikeout.
Well, Felix Hernandez has so many ways to get you out. The great fastball, the great changeup, but don't forget about that curveball. Batters are hitting .095 against that curveball this season, and Bautista thinks it's inside and low, so he is surprised on the call by Jim Wolf.
2 down, Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin's home run last night, his 51st home run for his career in the month of May. May has been good to Edwin. Sinking fastball. Hernandez will throw the kitchen sink at you. He's one of those guys that can manipulate the baseball and do just about anything he wants to do with it. He can cut it, he sinks it, he rides the four-seamer.
And when he gets on a roll, he just gets the ball and just keeps firing.
The Mariners signed him as a 17-year-old. Bob Engel, the former Blue Jays scout, went down to Venezuela scouting him. Pat Gillick was the GM at the time. They signed him. He went 30-10 in his minor league career before he was to the big leagues at 19.
Yeah, and that's, we've been talking about him for so long. Again, this is his 10th year in the big leagues, and he just turned 29 years old last month.
He is signed through 2019. There's a drive to left field, high and deep and gone. Another home run in May for Encarnacion.
He has been so good over the years, hitting 2-strike mistakes from the opposition, 2-strike breaking ball mistakes. And he does it again against one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. You want to see how strong Encarnacion. Just watch the replay of that home run.
Russell Martin bounces it to third. Seager bobbled it, bounced it over in time to retire Martin. But Edwin Encarnacion hits a first-inning home run off Felix Hernandez. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead, a one-handed home run to left. run of the season. If you look at the home run leaders for the last 2 seasons, there are 2 of them here in this ballpark. Nelson Cruz leads the pack with 56. Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins 49. Mike Trout, we just saw him. Edwin Encarnacion has 45 down. And we just saw Chris Carter down in Houston. That is an impressive list of home run hitters.
Some right-handed thump. Where are all the left-handed sluggers? We haven't seen them for a while. All of those guys right-handed hitters, and they're good hitters. Encarnacion, he'll hit his 270, 280 for the season. The guy on the right here, Nelson Cruz, he's been doing it with the power, with the home runs and the RBIs. He's also doing it with the batting average, 351, as he stands up there for right now.
Little cutter off the plate. We're seeing a different Marco Estrada. He's incorporated the curveball. He's using the cutter. He's always had a great changeup. 351, 16 and 33 for Cruz. Terrific numbers across the board.
And he's only played 32 games here at Rogers Center, and he's got 8 home runs.
He has played 65 career games against the Blue Jays and has driven in 65 runs. Wow. Covered that pitch down and away. Colabello over to try to cut it off. He'll get it back in, and Cruz is going to end up at second with a leadoff double. That's what we mean as far as being a good hitter. That ball was down and away, and he just took it the other way for a leadoff double.
Yeah, you can't defense people like that. You try to, but you just can't because they can hit the ball from foul line to foul line. We just had a chance to see Pujols, Albert Pujols with the Los Angeles Angels. He's a lot like Cruz. So is Miguel Cabrera. They're power hitters, they're run producers, but they're good hitters. That time he sneaks it by Encarnacion for extra bases.
Cruz is leading the Triple Crown category. He also just hit his 23rd extra base hit. He leads the American League in that department as well. This is Kyle Seager, part of that 3, 4, and 5 that McClendon is anxious to get hot.
Yeah, it's a team that really, I think offensively, the Seattle Mariners have not hit their stride. They have some very talented hitters, but they just have not been able to come up with a big base hit this year. Yesterday in the game in Baltimore, they had 17 base runners throughout that whole game and only were able to score 4 of them.
They were 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position and lost the game 5-4. Seager got ejected in the 5th inning by the home plate umpire, John Tumpane, and his spot came up twice in the game with the bases loaded.
And they lost by 1 run. I mean, that's how it has gone so far for the Seattle Mariners. A lot of people were picking them to get to the World Series. It was the trendy pick this winter, especially when they picked up Nelson Cruz.
Well, they always have had decent pitching. They've always had a very good bullpen, and then they got Cano last year and picked up Cruz this year, so everybody figured it'd be a good lefty-right complement. 2 balls and a strike to Kyle Seager. The Mariners as a team hitting just .220 with runners in scoring position. Only Texas and the Red Sox have hit lower with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, you got to come up with those 2-out base hits or those runners in scoring position. You mentioned that batting average with runners in scoring position. The major league average is .260.
A leadoff double, now a walk, and then you look at what Nelson Cruz means to this Mariners offense, and he has put up terrific numbers across the board, but the rest of the team hasn't been able to complement Cruz.
One-man wrecking Cruz so far is Cruz. The rest of the team hitting just .226, with Cruz hitting .351. And I think it's just a matter of time before they hit their stride. They are missing their leadoff hitter and their center fielder, Jackson, who's on the disabled list with an ankle injury. That might have an effect to their lineup.
Wellington Castillo, we mentioned he came over in trade with the Cubs on May 19th. They sent the relief pitcher Yervis Medina to Chicago. He has good numbers against Estrada, including 4 career home runs. Of course, Estrada pitched in Milwaukee, same division as the Cubs.
They'll make a note of that changeup from Marco Estrada. It's getting around that. He's got a very good one, and he's not afraid to use that changeup at any count. We'll watch the first time through here if they start taking it, if they start making adjustments against that changeup.
Ball in the strike. There's a ball driven to center. Pilar got a good read. That may have been a knuckleball. He hit it squarely on the nose, and Pilar went to his left initially and then tracked it straight in toward the infield, and Castillo's retired on the liner to center.
Thinking that that ball was hit harder. It's hit right off the end of the bat. A little cut fastball, and that's when you use that cutter in that situation right there. A fastball count, you throw the cutter, you hope to get it off the end of the bat. He does. Pilar tracks it down for the first out.
This is Logan Morrison. Morrison's the first baseman. He's hit 6 home runs, but he only has 12 RBIs.
Hitting with runners in scoring position. There it is right there. 6 home runs and 12 RBIs.
Pops this one into center. Pilar calling for it. He calls off Carrera. Tagging at second is Cruz. It's a strong throw right on time, but late. Valencia waited, and Cruz slides in head first. Pilar made another accurate throw to third, but it was just a bit late.
He is throwing as well as any time that we have seen him. Accurate. He gets rid of the ball quickly, catches the ball on the correct side. You can see right on the right side of his hand, and he makes the good strong throw. And Cruz is there just ahead of that throw.
Both runners move up. Seager's at second now. This is Mike Zunino, the catcher.
One more time on the slide. Cruz elects to go head first, and you can see he gets the hand right on that base before Valencia can drop the tag on him. Good effort right there by Kevin Pilar.
Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Mike Zunino, the catcher, has scuffled a bit early. He's hitting 175.
He's got some power. He too 5 home runs and just 12 RBIs from Zunino, and he will swing hard at that plate. He will not get cheated.
Curveball missed upstairs. Estrada talking to himself about finishing that pitch, and I love to come right back with a curveball after a pitcher has left it up. It's fresh in his mind what he has to do to snap off a good one
and get it out there, get it in front.
Little cutter is tapped foul. Rich Donnelly, the third base coach, takes care of it.
You know, it's a perfect time to use it right there, that cutter. Again, a fastball count, 2-1. You've got a guy at the plate in Zunino who swings hard, and he's really got one swing. He's looking to knock the ball out of the ballpark. So you throw that cutter just to get it off the big part of the bat.
Changeup. Zunino strikes out. The problems for the Mariners continue as they strand 2 base runners and trail 1-0. interesting stat because it combines walks and hits per innings pitched, and the lowest whip since 2012. And it's an interesting list of good pitchers.
Well, you got Hisashi Iwakuma on that list from the Mariners, Chris Sale, the great Chris Sale from the Chicago White Sox, and guess who's leading? King Felix Hernandez at 1.05. That whip right there over the last 3+ years in the American League. It's a very good measurement, I think, of a pitcher because you don't want base runners and walks and hits. You can control that. You make the good pitch, and you can get the out, and you keep those base runners down. You're going to win a lot of games.
Felix Hernandez came up as a 19-year-old in 2005, made 12 starts and went 4-4. Chris Colabello singles on the first pitch. Colabello is aboard with a leadoff single here in the second.
Looked like an off-speed pitch for a base hit. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Felix Hernandez. Fastball, just about 50% of the time. Batter's hitting .232 against it. There's the changeup, which is a devastating pitch. It looks like a splitter and acts like a splitter, but it's a true changeup. Curveball and slider, he'll mix those in also as well. So he's got 4 above-average pitches, and when he can control the strike zone, throw it where he wants to, and use them as pitching, you can see why he has been so good. Last year, second in the Cy Young in the American League.
He may have won the Cy Young had it not been for a start he made right here at Rogers Center on September 23rd. He gave up 8 runs in that game, and there was a scoring change that made 4 of those unearned runs, so he won the ERA title. But that tough game at the hands of the Blue Jays probably cost him his second Cy Young award.
That because of the importance of that game. They were trying to get into the playoffs. They ended up missing the playoffs by 1 game. And when you've got your big guy throw in the last week of the season, he's got to win those types of games.
Kevin Pillar cuts on it and misses. It's 1-2.
You mentioned September 23rd. That's been a big date for Felix Hernandez here in Toronto.
September 23rd, 2010. Felix Hernandez gave up a 2-out first-inning home run to Jose Bautista. It was the 50th home run of the season for Bautista. And Hernandez lost 1-0. A terrific game. He pitched 8 innings, of course, allowed just 2 hits. The only 2 hits in the game, a first-inning home run. Travis Snyder got the other hit, and Bautista hit his 50th home run in the first inning, and that was it.
That was the only guy to touch the plate that day.
Pillar lines it to Seager, and it's going to be a double play. The Gold Glover at third. He didn't hesitate. He caught the liner, and as quick as he caught it, he threw it to first, a double off Colabello.
Little anxious there at first base. Ball hooks right to Seager. He doesn't waste any time, makes an accurate throw, and it eliminates that leadoff single by Chris Colabello. You see that glove that Seager has. It's got that gold stripe on it, which symbolizes the Gold Glove. You can see when he puts it on his hand, it's right across the backside of his hand. See that gold strip right there?
The label Rawlings. Rawlings Gold Glove award winner. Russell Martin's got it on his chest protector. Danny Valencia had his first home run of the season yesterday. Valencia 1-for-4. His home run in the third tied the game up at 1-1. The Blue Jays would add a second run in the third to take the lead. There's that changeup. Seager unloads in a hurry, skips it across the diamond for the out. So the leadoff single is erased by a double play. 1-0 ball game.
15-day DL today. The Blue Jays needed someone from Buffalo, and they called up fan favorite Munenori Kawasaki. He tells me that he really enjoyed his time in Buffalo, and when he signed with the Jays in the offseason, he knew the chances were that's where he would be. But he also said he experienced probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to him, not only on a baseball field, but in his life, when he was hit in the head by a pitch. He said he suffered a concussion, and for a while, he pretty much didn't know where he was. He was out cold. Thankfully, he's okay. He's back, and, of course, the fans here are absolutely loving him.
Kawasaki, very popular, and obviously a very scary incident down in AAA. Went on the disabled list with that concussion, so some of his time was limited. This is Chris Taylor, the shortstop. He's batting ninth and hitting 150. Brad Miller has played most of the games at shortstop, but tonight it's Miller in center and Taylor at short. Up over near the Mariners dugout. Martin Encarnacion. Encarnacion calls for it and makes the basket catch. One down.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY expert sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
On a cool night in Toronto, the roof at Rogers Center is closed. The Mariners in for a 3-game series. This is the leadoff man, Brad Miller. He tapped back to the mound on the first pitch of the ball game.
And that's why he was taken all the way on that first pitch from Estrada. He's in a very aggressive leadoff hitter. A lot like Eric Aybar, who we just saw from the Los Angeles Angels. When he steps into that batter's box, he's ready. He's ready to swing that bat.
He's an interesting hitter in that he's a shortstop and playing in center, as we mentioned. This is his 5th pro season. He was a 2nd-round pick in 2011 out of Clemson. But he has 14 extra base hits. He's got a little pop. At the bottom of the zone. Russell Martin does a terrific job of receiving that low pitch. He really gets under it and gives the umpire a good look at it. You see that pitch number 4. Questionable strike. Tap toward first, and Encarnacion will step on the bag. Miller is retired.
Okay, 2nd time through the lineup now for Marco Estrada. The changeup has been very effective. His first time through, he's only given up the 1 hit.
I want to remind you there's some great Memorial Cup action on now on Sportsnet, Kelowna and Quebec. First night of the Memorial Cup. So make sure you check that out, but always come back and join us here at Rogers Center. Seth Smith. You know what we've seen with Estrada with each start? He's adding a new wrinkle with every start. Tonight, a little more with the cut fastball.
Cutter. Curveball was pretty good at his last start down in Houston. Already picked up those 8 strikeouts. That looked like another cutter right there. Hit on the left-hander. There's no limitations on him either. He is stretched out now. He's got his arm strength after starting the season in the bullpen. So no limitations tonight. He can go as long as he wants.
As long as he's effective. You know, that's the best pitch count ever. The hitters will tell you when you're done. The crack of the bat will tell you. Sparky Anderson used to say, I can tell by the crack of the bat.
If a guy is losing it or if he still has it.
Oh, that's a good changeup. 2nd strikeout of the ball game. Smith strikes out. 3 up, 3 down. 2nd time Estrada has retired the side in order. This great changeup gets Seth Smith. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Sox. He's playing in right field, and he has had his first major league at bat. 0 for 1 in that game. They sent Jackie Bradley Jr. back down to Pawtucket and called up Castillo.
Garrett Richards back to the scene of the accident last year, the injury. Fenway Park.
Ryan Goins takes the first pitch strike from Felix Hernandez. It's a 1-0 game. Too far outside. That breaking ball missed away.
You know, when you have a true number one like the Seattle Mariners do, and Felix Hernandez, he's all over the leaderboard in all the pitching categories American League. He's tied for first in wins with 6. He leads in whip at .095, 6th in earned run average. He won his 2nd earned run title last year. He beat out Chris Sale, but he's just all over the leaderboard, and that's what number ones do. They win games, and they at least keep you in ball games to help you win.
Yeah, he is just consistent, and he's been doing it for a long time. Hernandez won the Cy Young Award in 2010. He's a 5-time All-Star, and he's had 7 straight 200-plus innings pitched seasons. Just off the plate, low.
The second baseman, number 66, Munenori Kawasaki.
Kawasaki, very popular here at Rogers Center. He gives you everything he has every single day. The folks love his approach and his commitment.
Gives you good at bats, and he does the little things to help you win. Gotta figure he's going to be bunting here.
Hidden and running. Shortstop Taylor goes back. He was covering. He did a good job of reading the ball off the bat. Kawasaki moves Goins into scoring position.
Or hitting and running. We saw John Gibbons do that last night after a walk to Ryan Goins. The next batter last night was Steve Tollison. First pitch they played hit and run. Didn't think they would do that against Felix Hernandez, a little bit different type of pitcher. But it almost works out. Watch the shortstop move, but hold his ground just in case the ball comes his way, and it does, and he gets the out over at first base.
Ezequiel Carrera, the leadoff man tonight.
Gibby likes to be very aggressive with the guys at the bottom of the lineup.
They've responded very well. They have taken their walks. They've moved runners along. Last night, Goins and Tollison really did a job in the 8 and 9 hold in the order. Herrera chases one just off the plate. It's 0-2. Goins and Tollison batting in the bottom of the order reached base 7 of the 8 plate appearances in last night's game.
And they scored a ton of runs also in the game. As Carrera, as you saw in that last little blip up there, that he has been very good with runners in scoring position. That lower third, 6 hits this year with runners in scoring position.
Carrera has 9 RBIs and 38 at bats. That's good production.
Very good production. The outfield is playing him the other way, and they are very shallow. Even if he gets a base hit into the outfield, not sure if Ryan Goins is going to be able to score.
Well, it's quite a contrast to the Angels outfield we just saw for 4 games. They were way back near the warning track, and they had no shot at throwing out runners at the plate. Foul tip into the glove of the catcher Zunino. Second strikeout for Hernandez. So Bautista will step in with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Jose called out on a questionable call in the first inning. A curveball looked like it might have been inside. Bounces this one, hits the foul line and just hooks foul. Seager was ready to make the throw across the diamond.
And lucky that that ball went foul. That was close. Jose didn't even move out of the batter's box. That ball stayed very true down the third base line. Watch this ball. He taps it, and it looks like it's going to go foul, and it's just foul.
Will Little, the umpire at third, making the call. Down and away. Bautista bounces it toward first. Logan Morrison wide of the bag, throws to Hernandez. The inning is over. The Blue Jays leave a runner on for the first time. It's still a 1-0 game as we head to the fourth.
Monday, June the 7th, when they take on the Astros. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Marcus Stroman bobblehead doll. The Blue Jays and the Astros that afternoon at 1:07. Go to BlueJays.com for more tickets. And Buck, Stroman has confirmed that he will be here in Toronto for his bobblehead day. He said there was no way he was going to miss this one.
Well, he's also got to come up for that fan that bought lunch with Ian Sanchez, and that'll be maybe a good opportunity to handle both of those obligations. But it'll be great to see Marcus, and I know he's in Duke, going to school, trying to finish up his degree. Cano, Cruz, and Seager, middle of the order for the Mariners. You know, we talked about Lloyd McClendon liking his 3, 4, and 5. Well, John Gibbons has 3 hitters that he'll match up against anybody as well. Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, and Edwin Encarnacion. Very comparable. The only difference is the Mariners have 2 lefty bats.
Right. That's the only difference, I think, is the balance. They have a little bit more balance, a couple of lefties and a righty.
That being said, it's really interesting that the Mariners as a team batting just .233 against right-handed pitching. They have Cano, Seager, Logan Morrison, and Seth Smith in the lineup tonight.
Plenty of left-handed bats. You would think that they would handle the righties.
They've hit .265 against lefty pitching.
They just have not hit their stride offensively. They have enough hitting, I think, and once they get hot, they'll get hot together as a team, and I think they'll take off.
They elevate the fastball and get the desired results. A pop-up on the infield. Valencia at third makes the catch. 1 down. Well, here is the Major League leader in home runs, and this is his pitch chart where he has hit the pitches out of the ballpark.
Note the different colors representing the different types of pitches, and then how many different ones are in that little zone right there. Down and down and in. He hits everything. He hits the fastball, the slider, the sinker, the changeup, splitter, curveball, everything. He's just a good hitter. He has the only hit of the night for Seattle, and another problem that they have had, it was a double, and it broke a string of 12 straight innings where they didn't have an extra base hit.
That's a good pitch. Trying to keep the ball away. We showed you that home run chart. Most of those home runs were on the inner half.
Yep, stay away. Before that double, their last 14 hits were all singles. And they've got plenty of power in their lineup, and they got plenty of hitters in their lineup. They just haven't hit their stride yet.
Well, you know what happens when teams recognize they're not getting big hits. Everybody tries a little harder, and you go away from your strengths. 1-2 to Cruz. Reaches for that pitch, down and away. Valencia just in time. Cruz gets down the line, but he's retired on a strong throw by Valencia, playing at third.
Yeah, that's interesting that you were just talking about everybody trying a little bit too hard or trying to do too much. When you play on teams like that, the manager or the hitting coach, they'll go around, look, everybody do their job. Just do what you can do to help the team, and then it's really a sum of the parts of your team when you do your thing. Kyle Seager, you hit 330, go out there and hit 330. Cruz, you hit home runs, go ahead and do that. Take your walks when you have to. When you do that, then the whole lineup starts working together.
Yeah, and they have a pretty balanced attack, as we mentioned, but the surprising thing is that number against right-handed pitching. Cued off the end of the bat. This is going to be a base hit. Can't defend against that. That was a changeup hit right off the end of the bat. Valencia was playing him to pull, and he wisely decided to put the ball in his pocket and not make a throw to first.
Yeah, don't even attempt to throw the ball down there. You could throw it away. Right off the end of the bat. That ball is cued, and it looks like it's going to go foul, but what the English put on it, watch this thing. It looks like it's going foul. Watch where it ends up. Look at that. Comes all the way back into fair territory. No chance to get him out.
2-out single. Wellington Castillo flied out to center. His first time up. Castillo came up with the Cubs in 2010. He appeared in just 7 games. That was his first opportunity in big leagues. Got a chance to play in 2013. Played 113 games, hit 8 home runs. Last year he had his best season, 13 homers. Now he's got the count in his favor, 3-0. Everything has been up.
Yeah, and you mentioned the good numbers that he has had against Marco Estrada.
4 home runs against Estrada. He has 6 hits, and 4 of them have been homers.
You know he's going to be swinging here. He's going to be looking to go deep.
All 4 pitches up out of the strike zone, and Castillo walks with 2 outs.
Championship-winning Honda CRF 450R for those who dare to ride red.
Thank you.
Seattle with runners at first and second. They trail by a run. It's 1-0. First baseman Logan Morrison. Up and in. Everything is in the same spot upstairs. Estrada's got to make an adjustment.
He has been down the whole game until Seager got that infield hit. He's going to have to make that adjustment, maybe throw a curveball.
Morrison is 3 for 32. with runners in scoring position. There's a cutter. That's lined to right, and that's going to get by Colabello. 2 runs are going to score. Castillo's being waved around third. Morrison is headed for third. They missed the cutoff man. The tag at third, not in time. Chris Colabello made a poor judgment diving for that ball. Concede 1 run, but don't give him 2, and he dove for it, and he'd been better off just playing it out of hop.
Just try to play it off the hop. The runner at second base would have scored, but that runner at first base would have been held up. This ball is hit hard by Logan Morrison, and there's the mistake right there. Colabello dives, tries to knock the ball down, try to get his glove on it, but it comes up empty and goes all the way to the wall. Kevin Pillar has to back it up. The relay throw came in, and Logan Morrison gets into third base with that triple.
So the Mariners have taken a 2-1 lead. And it all happened with 2 outs and nobody on. Kyle Seager cued a ball off the end of the bat, and then Castillo walked. This is popped up, going to be into the seats, out of play. The triple for Morrison, his second of the season. You mentioned the extra base drought.
Yeah.
They now have a double and a triple.
No extra base hits in the 12 innings before that double. There you go. That's where Marco's got to live, right there with that fastball down and away. He lost it momentarily after that hit, the infield hit. 4-pitch walk to Castillo and then fell behind Morrison. He's got to stay down there.
1-2. Curveball pulled, fair ball. Down the left field line. They'll go all the way down the line, and a fan reaches over and touches it. And a run comes in. It's a 3-run inning.
All with 2 outs, nobody on. You retire their 2 best hitters, Cano and Cruz, and then the infield single right off the end of the bat gets it started for the Mariners. Hanging curveball hit down the left field line. Logan Morrison will score. You can see this ball. Zunino stays back, hits it right square, right over the third base bag, and Morrison scores.
So it's 3-1 Seattle. Chris Taylor, the shortstop, takes strike 1. The game is a funny game. Kyle Seager fooled on the changeup, hit it off the end of the bat, squibbed one down the line to keep the inning going. Then Castillo walked, and Morrison hit what should have been a single. Turns into a triple.
And isn't it funny the way that Seager squibbed that ball? They were playing him to pull. If you're playing straight up, that ball's a ground ball third baseman. But Valencia was playing so far over, almost straightaway shortstop. He had too far to come to get the out over at first base.
That's cued off the end of the bat. Encarnacion will step on the bag, but the Mariners have taken the lead 3-1. Edwin Encarnacion in the first inning hit his 11th home run of the season off Felix Hernandez. It's his 11th career home run against Seattle.
Luxury begins with the new 8-speed dual-clutch 2016 Acura ILX. Catch it if you can.
The Mariners scored 3 runs coming all with 2 outs, and they've taken a 3-1 lead here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 1 run. That was the Encarnacion 2-out home run in the first.
He's some kind of strong, isn't he?
One-handed home run. He was fooled, but was able to get the barrel on the ball and hit it over the wall and left.
Fooled on a breaking ball from Felix Hernandez. It looked like on that replay that he hit it with one hand, but he generates so much bat speed. He's got so much quickness as Hernandez fell off the mound there. His last start, he did the same thing and twisted his ankle against the Boston Red Sox. And you can see how frustrated he is. Watch this last pitch and watch the follow through and the finish. The left ankle gives way.
Encarnacion has been tossing that bat the last few games and goes all the way out past the third baseman.
That's a good sign. Every time he starts doing that, that's when he starts hitting the home runs. Staying on the ball. You can see Hernandez again. That ankle a little tender after he tripped a little bit on that previous pitch.
Well, and what happens is you have so much doubt in your mind as to whether or not you might slip again. You get very tentative through your delivery.
You better feel very confident when you let go of that ball. This is the last start. It was at home versus the Boston Red Sox. And watch when he finishes this pitch. Same thing. You can see him grimace just a little bit. He ended up pitching and staying in that ball game, but that left ankle still very tender. I think it's bothered him.
Yeah, and he hasn't been able to overcome that. But, you know, anytime you twist your ankle, roll over your ankle, whatever you want to call it, then you have some doubts as to whether or not it's going to happen again. He's still walking around kind of gingerly after he strikes out in Encarnacion. That's 3 strikeouts for Hernandez.
Well, I think there's no doubt that he still feels it. Robbie Cano's going to come in and talk to him. Doesn't mean he can't finish pitching. Doesn't mean that he can't do a good job, but I think it's still on his mind. He can still feel it. Takes a little something off of that one to pick up his 3rd strikeout.
Russell Martin, the catcher, grounded out to third base. His only time up. 93 at the knees. Well, I like the tempo Hernandez has worked at. He always is a quick worker. He makes up his mind very quickly as to which pitch he wants to throw.
Works quickly, keeps everybody engaged on the field. It's just an aggressive mentality. And you know what it does for a hitter? It feels like they're keeping the pressure on you. You can't step out and you can't take your time and slow down his tempo. Keeps the pressure on you.
There's that high changeup. It's 88, but that indeed is the changeup, and Martin strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 4th. Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now. Game 4, Rangers and Lightning over on CBC, so check that out. Chris Colabello single through the left side of the infield, his first time up.
Good pitch right there. May 22nd's a big day for Chris Colabello. 2 years ago, he got the call to come to the big leagues for the first time. 2013 when he was with Minnesota. So he was reminded of that date today.
Bouncing ball. Seager backs up, takes the big hop. Colabella's retired. The inning is over. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 5th. 3-1 Seattle. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zong.
In game live or on demand in True HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and much more. MLB.TV Premium also includes a free At-Bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription package is available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And Blue Jay fans will be thrilled to know that on that app you can see that both the Yankees and the Orioles are losing big time early on. Buck?
That they are, Barry, and it's an interesting night in the AL East as the power has certainly shifted out west in the American League.
Yes. Texas Rangers 7, Yankees 0. Michael Pineda getting lit up in Yankee Stadium tonight.
Miami's beating the Orioles down in Miami, and Ubaldo Jimenez has given up 3 runs on 7 hits. That must be a different Jimenez than we have seen.
Yeah, it's not the same guy.
It can't be the same guy.
Guy's been unbelievable against the Blue Jays this year.
Says Brad Miller, the leadoff man. He's over 2 so far. There's a changeup, and that flies into the dugout. Strikeout. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. That must be a different Michael Pineda, too.
It's not the one the Blue Jays
That's not the one the
seen.
Blue Jays saw. How about Prince Fielder? He's batting .341, 6 homers, and 26 RBIs. He had surgery on his neck. He is healthy again, and he's doing his thing once again. This is the Prince Fielder the Rangers traded for.
That's the guy they traded for last year. The guy last year was injured. Is he your all-star first baseman? I mean, you got a lot of guys to choose from.
He's certainly having an all-star start to his season. Seth Smith behind quickly, 0-2. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 5th.
Second time that he has gotten Seth Smith with that great changeup. He just keeps throwing it up there, and they just keep swinging right through it. Look at the fingers, how it rolls right off of those fingertips. You get the good arm action. You get that spin that goes the other way from the left-hander, and you mess up his timing. He missed that one by about 6 or 7 inches.
Yeah, and that's a good changeup when you get a hitter to miss with 2 strikes. Cano goes after the first pitch and fouls it back.
You know what you have to have when you throw a changeup? You have to have confidence that you're going to be able to throw a good one, because you're obviously taking something off of your best pitch. Your best pitch is your fastball. So you're throwing it a lot slower. You got to have a lot of confidence in that changeup.
Kawasaki backs up, throws to first. Cano's retired. 3 up, 3 down. The Mariners go quietly in their half of the 5th. When we come back, it'll be Pilar, Valencia, and Goins against Felix Hernandez.
Play game 2 of their series at 107. Special price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Go to BlueJays.com for more details. And Buck, it's supposed to be sunny and a high of 17 tomorrow, so a good chance we see the roof open. But if you're bringing the kids, I suggest bring a light jacket, because it could get a little chilly down here.
Well, hopefully it will be open, Barry. We haven't had it open for a few days now, and it was nice on Monday. And they opened it up, and it's been cool ever since. So hopefully tomorrow would be a good day. We'll have a good crowd on hand. James Paxton, the Canadian lefty, will go to the mound against Mark Burley in game 2 of this 3-game series. Junior Jays Saturday. Always a lot of fun. Kevin Pillar hit one right on the nose his first time up, but it was right at Kyle Seager, the third baseman, who turned it into a double play. He lined out.
Kyle Seager thinks he's going to bunt on him, playing even with the bag at third base.
Pilar has bunted to start innings. Seager now backing up a few steps. That's the old trick. You let the hitter see you in close, and then before the pitch is delivered, the hitter's concentrating on the pitcher, and he doesn't see you backing up.
Give a little ground so you can catch that ball. That's why it's easier for lefties to hit. They can just look out there. Righties, you take that one last look, and then you got to concentrate on that pitcher, and you don't see that third baseman.
Pilar strikes out. 1 down. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. Well, that's good news for the Angels that Pujols is healthy enough to get back in the lineup. He got hit by a pitch here 2 games ago, and he was out of the lineup last night, back in the lineup tonight. He's hit a homer.
That didn't look good, did it?
Danny Valencia strokes it to right. He had a home run yesterday down the right field line. This time he hits a solid single to right with 1 out.
He wasn't waiting around. The first fastball that he saw from Felix Hernandez, he was going to be all over that one. He stays away from him with that fastball, and Valencia said, that's the best pitch I'm going to see in this at bat, and he strokes it to right field.
Boy, he's swinging the bat well right now. Lefties, righties, it doesn't make any difference. He's got a good stroke working. The extra playing time has really helped him. Ryan Goins walked against Hernandez. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays scored a run in the first on the Encarnacion home run. The Mariners got 3 2-out runs in the top of the 4th. Well, it's interesting looking at the middle infield of the Mariners. They are really shallow, and they have picked up on the fact this is a slow surface. Cano is in about 2 steps over normal double play depth.
I think it's gone all around baseball and how slow this surface is here. So the infielders, double play depth, you've got to creep in just a little bit more so that ball can get to you a little quicker.
Well, Chew, normally when a ball is hit off this turf in front of home plate, it will take off, but that's not the case anymore. It's not as firm as it once was. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's a different thing.
Yeah, it is. It was a lot faster the last couple of years. It's really slowed down. Wow, he has been very careful with Ryan Goins so far tonight.
He walked Goins in the 3rd. It was a leadoff walk. The Blue Jays couldn't move him around.
And now he's fallen behind. 3-1. Look for that one pitch. You're thinking extra base hit right here.
Ground ball, Cano to Taylor. Back to first, double play. Positioned perfectly in for the double play, second double play of the night. We head to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew. It's brought to you by Natura, Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Meanwhile, over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, Kids Up Front welcomes Down Syndrome Association of Toronto. And guys, there's a great new film coming out about Down syndrome and baseball tying in together. It's called Where Hope Grows, and it's really a good film to have a look at.
Barry, that's a great tip, and you can see all the joy in those kids' faces down there at the Jays Care Community Clubhouse. We want to welcome you to Rogers Center. 3-1 ball game. Nelson Cruz. Well, that's a perfect pitch. He dotted the I on the outside corner.
You know, if you could bottle that and just throw it every single time, you'd be good. But that is where you want to live against Cruz.
Well, down and away is such an effective pitch because it's the furthest pitch away from a hitter's eyes. And if you think about it, you really have to commit to that pitch to hit it. And How many people are going to hit it hard? They're going right back there. That is driven into center. Pilar is on the run. He's going to watch this one sail out of the ballpark. Home run number 17 for Nelson Cruz. He leads the majors.
You know, he's not a home run hitter that just pulls the ball to knock the ball out of the ballpark. He can hit it out anywhere. And again, on top of being such a great hitter, he doubled his first time up down the right field line. He can drive the ball to the deepest part of any ballpark and come up with home runs. 400 to straightaway center field. It's a four-seam fastball. He wants to go down and away again, but that time it's up where he can reach it. And watch how he just drives through that ball and over the wall, that 400-foot sign in center field.
His 9th career home run here at Rogers Center. Home runs have been a problem for the Blue Jays. They've now allowed 55 home runs. Let's check that. 56 home runs with the Cruz home run. Seager bounces it to second. Kawasaki has it. One down.
Well, luckily for Blue Jays, it's another solo home run by Seattle. They've hit their share of those.
Seattle's solo home runs have been a concern. They haven't had many home runs with men on base, but you see the home run leaders. 17 home runs. That leads the majors. He's 5 ahead of Mark Teixeira. We just saw Mike Trout. He's got 11.
That's one of the things I think that was missing for the Seattle Mariners last year. Someone to hit behind Robinson Cano, preferably a right-handed power hitter that complements the left-handed hitting Cano and can fit right in between the left-handed hitting Seager.
Castillo breaks his bat and loops it into right field. He's been on base his last 2 times up.
And the guy they went and got was Nelson Cruz, and he has fit in quite nicely.
He says he loves hitting in Seattle's ballpark, but he's absolutely wearing out the baseball on the road. You see the home run team leaders in the American League. Mariners now have 52. They're 10 behind the Houston Astros.
39 of those are solo home runs.
Bouncing ball. Kawasaki will go to second. They get the lead run. The return throw just late as Morrison beats out the return from Goins. Goins really turned it quickly. I thought all they were going to get for sure was the lead runner Castillo, but they made it bang bang at first.
Just too slow. The ball was just hit too slowly on this turf, and Ryan has to throw that ball flat-footed. Can't get his legs underneath him and moving through the ball. And Morrison will beat it out just ahead of the throw.
Well, what a jump Morrison got at first, and Martin didn't have a shot at all. Morrison with a running start picks up his second steal. You can see Martin was frustrated. He didn't have a chance.
Yeah, no chance. He's been so good this year at throwing out base runners. 12 for 27 coming into this one. Marco doesn't pay attention to him. Even with a perfect throw, he would have beaten it. He's got a huge jump. That one was on the pitcher.
Ball on a strike. Mike Zunino, the catcher, had an RBI double in the 4th. Right on the outside corner. Now it's 2-2.
Time for a changeup. After a couple of fastballs away, time for the changeup. Marco has had 4 strikeouts tonight.
Bounced in the dirt. It was the changeup, but low. Full count, 2 outs. Chris Taylor, the shortstop. He'll be next if Zunino can keep the inning going. Blue Jays, with that home run to Cruz, have allowed home runs in 8 straight games. A total of 16 home runs. Strike 3 called. Zunino caught looking at the fastball. Another strikeout. That's 5. But Nelson Cruz, he's 2 for 3 here at Rogers Center. This is his 13th home run he's hit on the road. He's now hitting .408 on the road. Has hired Ron Washington, former coach for Oakland, former manager of the Texas Rangers. Oakland has committed 45 errors this year. Washington was a terrific infield instructor, and Billy Beane called him up and asked him to come back, and he has joined the team tonight in Tampa Bay.
On the road trip. He coached a lot of Gold Glove winners for that Oakland team when he was the infield instructor there.
Eric Chavez gave him one of his Gold Gloves for the impact he had on his. Chavez had 6.
He gave him his 3rd one. The 3rd one he won, he gave to Ron Washington. How special is that?
Munenori Kawasaki takes strike 2.
I wish I won that many Gold Gloves that I could just give them away. I wanted to win just one. I had no chance.
Chavez's wife probably said, "You got too many of those things. Give them away." No, but actually, Chavez really made an emotional gesture for Washington to give him that 3rd Gold Glove trophy. A ball and 2 strikes. We're in the 6th. Seattle has a 4-1 lead.
The ball was tipped. The outfield very shallow and pulled around to left field for Kawasaki. They do not think that he can hit the ball over their head. And with the slow turf in the outfield, they don't think he can get the ball by him in the gaps. Kawasaki
with a 2-2 count. Munenori hit .222 in AAA Buffalo before this game tonight.
His thing is all about on-base percentage. See a lot of pitches, make that pitcher work. He's making Hernandez work again here.
Hernandez strikes him out, and he gave into that ankle again. 1 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Folks inside the Jays shop here at Rogers Center getting their new Blue Jays duds. Herrera bunts it right back toward the mound. Hernandez makes a good play. Another good play on the other end by Morrison, digging into that baseline and pulling the ball out.
You know, Buck, I was wondering why the Blue Jays haven't tried bunting a little bit more on Hernandez. This is the last strikeout, and watch Hernandez finish in the reaction. You can see still struggling just a little bit with that ankle. It's the left ankle. So Carrera can run a little bit. Let's see if he can field his position.
And he did.
And he did.
Handled it very well. Jose Bautista's 0 for 2. There's that big curveball for strike 1. Down in AAA Buffalo tonight, Daniel Norris started. He went 4 innings. He gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits, walked 4, and threw 88 pitches. He threw 21 or more pitches in 3 of the 4 innings he worked, so his command is not where the Blue Jays want to see it right now. Jose Reyes is down there as well. He went 1 for 2 with a walk. Tonight he was the DH. He expects to play shortstop tomorrow. They're in Toledo playing.
Yeah, in Toledo, and they're expecting Jose just 2 or 3 games and then be back here probably for the Monday game against the Chicago White Sox. At least that's the target date.
1-2 to Bautista. Just off the plate outside. Full count. Encarnacion has homered and struck out tonight. Well, poor Bautista takes another walk. So that'll bring Encarnacion to the plate with a man aboard and 2 outs.
Well, he does such a good job of laying off of tough borderline pitches. It's almost like he knows what's coming.
Well, he's so patient and selective, and he can determine quickly out of the pitcher's hand, ball or strike. And Bautista is 4th best at base on ball percentage. He's up over 17%. He'll make a pitcher throw a strike. Hernandez brushed Encarnacion off the plate. He thought about it and checked his swing down off the plate inside.
Here's another guy who's very patient, and he's not a free swinger. He'll hit his home runs, but he will make that pitcher work. That was a nasty, nasty pitch right there. That 1-0 pitch.
Encarnacion going after that pitch. Looked like another changeup. It's hard. but he throws it with that grip, and it can act differently. Sometimes it'll act like a splitter, but he throws it very well and quite confidently.
92. Again, that last pitch, let's take a look at it. See how he digs it back into his finger, and he's got that circle change, the index finger tucked in with the thumb, rolls it right off of the end of his fingers. Again, that's 88 miles an hour. It looks like a splitter, and a lot of times it's mistaken as a splitter, but that is a straight change, and it is nasty.
I had him show me the grip in Seattle a couple of years ago. I was so interested because it was a difficult pitch to identify. Until you talk to him and hear it firsthand, he'll show you the grip, and then once in a while he'll spread his fingers a little wider to get a different movement on the baseball. But Mike Rojas is the bullpen coach for the Mariners, and he is Cookie Rojas' son, and I talked to Mike before the game just to check with him again, and he says, yeah, he said he'll throw it many different ways. Breaking ball hit into the hole. Taylor has a long throw. Just in time. Nice play by the shortstop. Deep in the hole between short and third, and he throws out Encarnacion with a strong throw to bail out Hernandez.
Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. The Indy 500 on City and Sportsnet 1. And unfortunately for Canadian race fans, we will not see James Hinchcliffe. Spent a couple of days in intensive care this week after a nasty crash during practice runs. The good news is he is continuing to improve, Buck.
That is great news, Barry, and certainly the Indy 500 is a special sporting event that everybody looks forward to each and every year. Marcus Estrada back out for the 7th. A fly ball into center. Pilar over to his right is there and makes the catch. Chris Taylor's retired after making that fine defensive play to end the bottom of the 6th. He's retired on one pitch. Leadoff man Brad Miller playing in center field for the first time in his career is 0 for 3. Austin Jackson, their regular leadoff man in center fielder, is rehabbing a sprained ankle. He sprained his ankle on May 3rd, running to first base down in Houston. He is probably ready to join the team, but Lloyd McClendon and Mariners made a decision to keep him off this surface, coming back from a sprained ankle.
The Mariners are going to play 6 straight games on artificial surface. 3 here in Toronto, then they go down to Tampa Bay. And you're right, leave him off of the surface here. Maybe in Tampa. They're talking about maybe Tampa early next week for him to come off the disabled list.
Marco Estrada made 2 plays to start the ball game. Second time he's retired Brad Miller on a comebacker. He also snared a line drive off the bat of Seth Smith, who will step in now with 2 outs. We mentioned in the opening how the Blue Jays have gotten 3 good starts in a row. Now it makes 4. That Estrada 6 2/3 to this point.
Yeah, he's still under 100 pitches. That was pitch number 92. He's given up the 4 runs, 3 of them after 2 were out, nobody on.
Still got a good fastball.
Yeah, I think just because you're in a certain part of the lineup or you've hit a certain amount of pitches, you don't take a guy out if he's pitching well. And I think Marco's pitching well. He still has a good fastball. He is still putting it where he needs to get outs. His changeup has been very effective, and his curveball.
And John Gibbons knows the bullpen has been somewhat inconsistent.
Yeah. It's a good
pitch.
fastball.
And Estrada wants to stay out there. Ryan Tepera up for a second time tonight. Took a shot at that outside corner.
He struck him out twice tonight with changeups. Yeah, this is a perfect time for it. 3-2. He's feasted a lot of fastballs in this at bat. Time to throw a changeup.
He threw a fastball and missed.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY expert sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Marco Estrada with a 2-out walk to Seth Smith. Now he has to deal with Robbie Cano, who's 0 for 3 so far. Estrada, he's wise enough to understand this is going to be his last batter no matter what happens. He's got Cruz on deck. Nelson Cruz has hit a double and a home run against Estrada. We're in the 7th with 2 outs.
Yeah, can't give up any more. They might give him another look. He has handled Robbie Cano tonight. Another fastball. Looks like Cano is looking for the changeup. He has taken a couple of fastballs right down the middle. And he was expecting a changeup, and he got the fastball.
Hit that off the end of the bat. That was the changeup in a good spot, down and away. Well, Estrada, if he can finish this inning, of course, he would be the pitcher of record. The Blue Jays come back and they can erase this 3-run deficit. Might pick up a win. John Gibbons contemplating his next move with Cruz on deck. Ground ball, that should end the inning. Kawasaki, Encarnacion, it does. Marco Estrada, 70 innings. He allows 4 runs on 6 hits. He needs some help from his hitters, Martin, Colabello, and Pilar against Hernandez.
tickets, and if you already have tickets, be aware. Well, guys, this was supposed to be a really big weekend for Michael Saunders when he was acquired by the Blue Jays. First thing he did was circle this series on his calendar. His first opportunity to play against a Seattle Mariners team he's played with for the last 6 seasons. He told me today he's very disappointed that he won't get a chance to face these guys for the first time, but he is looking forward to that opportunity come July when they head to Seattle. Buck?
Yeah, he was reunited with a lot of former teammates, a lot of friends on the coaching staff. He had a chance to say hello to a lot of those people. Justin Brugiano comes in to play center field, taking over for Brad Miller. It'll be Martin, Colabello, and Pilar. In the 7th, Blue Jays down by 3. They have just 3 hits and a single run against Felix Hernandez. Ball and a strike. Hernandez, 29 years old, as we mentioned. He's a 5-time All-Star. And the Mariners have him locked up through 2019.
Good move.
They also have an option for 2020. And they have Robbie Cano signed up for 8 more years after this one. Cano's 34 years old.
Mm-hmm. He can still play, though. You know, you mentioned that Hernandez is 29 years old. This is his 312th career start. How about that? And he's 131 and 93 with an ERA of 3.05 in those 311 starts.
He wanted the curveball and missed with it. Now it's a full count to Russell Martin. Blue Jays obviously need some base runners. Colabello is 1 for 2. Martin strikes out. He asked whether it was a foul ball in the dirt, but Jim Wolf says no. Felix Hernandez, he's the king, and the Jews against the Blue Jays. You can see here at Rogers Center he has pitched fairly well.
How about the earned run average in Seattle? Safeco Field at 8 against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays hitting 350 against them. Much better here. You mentioned some of his best games have been pitched here at Rogers Center, and a couple of his worst games have been pitched here. But all told, a 356 earned run average here at Rogers Center.
We mentioned that game. He lost 1-0 September 23rd, 2010, when Jose Bautista took him deep in the first inning. That was Bautista's 50th home run of the season. Colabello has his second hit, almost identical to his first. Pulled in the hole at short. Two for 3 night for Colabello.
He can hit, and he is swinging a hot bat right now. It looked like it might have been that changeup again. And he was able to pull it right by Seager in the left field. Blue Jays need base runners.
Kevin Pilar has had a tough time with that changeup down and in.
He was getting some fastball right there. Got some fastball from Hernandez, and he threw him a changeup. 88-mile-an-hour changeup.
Ball on a strike. Pilar lined into a double play in the second, struck out in the 5th. Pitch he struck out on was that changeup down and in. Bouncing ball, foul. Beyond Seager's reach and outside the bag. Reminder, the 2015 MasterCard Memorial Cup is on now, Kelowna and Quebec. In game one of that great tournament. Bouncing ball. Seager has to wait on it. They'll go to second for one. That's all they'll get. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Jamie, that's quite an impressive list of third basemen that have played their entire career with the same team. Evan Longoria with his 1,000th game at third for the Rays. He's 6th on the all-time list. Brooks Robinson is first. 2,896 games with the Orioles.
Was that 23 years, something like that for Brooksy?
Well, it's an impressive list. Brooks Robinson, George Brett, Ozzie Bueg, who played with the Senators in the 50s, Red Rolfe of the Yankees, Al Rosen of the Indians, and Evan Longoria. He's now 6th. He's going to move up to that 5th spot. Al Rosen with 1,044 games. Two outs. Danny Valencia is 1 for 2. There goes Pilar. Zunino's throw is not in time. Kevin Pilar got a good jump. His 7th steal has only been caught once.
He picked on a perfect pitch, the perfect time to go. He was guessing changeup from Felix Hernandez, and it was. Goes on that first movement. Takes a little bit longer for that ball to get to home plate, so Pilar obliges and slides right underneath the tag. You see him duck away from the tag from Cano.
Danny Valencia behind Owen Chu. In the dirt, Pilar will hold at second. Tim Leeper, you got to give him some credit too. He's the first base coach, and he keeps times on the pitcher's release time. And you can bet he came over to Pilar and said, hey, you can get him. He will have a standard release time, about 1-4-1-5 from the time the pitcher makes his first move till that ball hits the catcher's glove.
Yeah, anything over that, that's a good time to go. Catcher is about 2 seconds, which is a very good time to second base. You take your chances. Not a bad time to go. I think he just picked on a great pitch also. Picked up that Hernandez has been throwing 0-1 changeups. Got the changeup again. Gets himself into scoring position.
Hernandez called his catcher out. He's got a pitch on his mind, and he didn't want there to be any confusion. So Hernandez has the pitch he wants. He's ahead of Valencia 1-2. And he strikes him out with a changeup. Couple of strikeouts in the inning, 8 in the ball game. Blue Jays leave a runner in scoring position. The Mariners have a 4-1 lead. 2016 Acura ILX. Catch it if you can.
Who else? Nelson Cruz. They needed some right-handed power. The Seattle Mariners go out and get Nelson Cruz. This is his major league leading 17th home run. It came in the 6th inning to lead off that inning over the center field wall. And that put the Mariners up 4-1 on our drive of the game.
With 2 hits tonight, he's 2 for 3. Cruz has raised his road batting average to .408. He has hit 13 of his 17 home runs on the road. New pitcher is Ryan Tepera, making his 5th appearance of the season.
There are the numbers for Tepera: fastball, breaking ball, cutter, and changeup. And there's a breaking ball to start off to Nelson Cruz. Tepera has done a nice job for the Blue Jays since they brought him up from the minor leagues.
No sinking fastball. He's ahead 0-2. Wouldn't bite on that breaking ball.
Ryan last worked 4 days ago in that LA Angels series. He recorded 4 outs in the game that he pitched in. 3 of them were with strikeouts. A lot of breaking balls that he would use. He would cut it against the right-handers. The cutter's been a good pitch for him. He just learned it this year.
That's pulled on the left side. Goins comes in quickly from short in time to retire Cruz. Felix Hernandez got a visit from the manager down the end of the dugout, and I think right then McClendon took the ball out of Hernandez's hands. He's not really pleased about it, but we have talked about his ankle and the trainer standing right there with him, and it's a long season. He's pitched 7 innings. He tweaked his ankle early in the game. Carson Smith is warming up, and it was a matter of the manager making a decision that, yeah, he probably could have gone back out there, but why risk it? And he's dealing with that ankle the last 2 starts.
Yeah, and it looks like he was affected. It doesn't mean that he can't pitch, but it looked like he was affected. 2 things to think about. They're at the bottom of the order for the Blue Jays. So, you know, you can go to the bullpen, and they're hoping that they can get through before they get to the middle of the lineup. And the second thing is, Lloyd McClendon started that last year with Felix Hernandez, taking him out an inning extra or early before they got to September, because they said if we're going to win, we're going to need a healthy and strong and fresh Felix Hernandez. So you take him out for an inning here, inning there, you know, that adds up. 5 months of 5, that's 25 innings that you take off of his arm as they head into September.
Yeah, and you need him fresh, obviously, for the long haul. You've got a big financial commitment to him being healthy. And it's manager's responsibility in a game like this. It's 4-1. And you made a great point about where you are in the lineup. The Blue Jays in the 8th. It'll be 8, 9, and 1. Tepera 2-2 to Kyle Seager. Marco Estrada, the starter tonight, goes 7 innings. He threw 101 pitches tonight. That's the most since June 25th last year, when he pitched 6 1/3 against the Nationals in Washington as a member of the Brewers. So he did what he hoped to do tonight. He didn't want to leave with giving up the lead, but he pitched 7 innings.
And he said that after his last start, that he wanted to go a little bit deeper in the ball games. That start in Houston, he only went 5 innings, 8 strikeouts and 4 walks, and that's the thing. He was telling me after the game, he goes, I was so upset about the base on balls in that start against the Astros.
Seager rips it into the seats and rattles down the right side. Kyle Seager is 1 for 2. He walked in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 4th, and grounded out in the 6th. covers that outside pitch, stays alive. Baltimore is beating Miami now 5-3, top of the 6th. Tampa Bay's ahead of Oakland 3-1, top of the 6th. So fly ball down the right side, not deep, but it hooks foul into the seats.
Looked like the Angels put a big inning on the Boston Red Sox to blow that game open.
11-3 now, and they're in the middle of the 5th. How about a 9-run 5th inning?
That'll work.
That's a big inning. It's a fly ball to left. Carrera, long run. He gets there and makes the catch. 2 down.
The championship-winning Honda CRF 450R for those who dare to ride red.
Beautiful shot of downtown Toronto, just a couple of blocks away from Rogers Center. This is Wellington Castillo, the DH tonight. Ground ball, Goins to his left, takes his time. The inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 4-1 Mariner lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Five-year-old Carson Smith will make his 20th appearance, and one thing the Mariners have had the last couple of years, hard-throwing relievers.
Yeah, and lots of bullpen, big guys. Those 20 appearances now, that leads this team. And opponent's batting average, you see the right-handers just 119, lefties 150. That's a combined 129 batting average. He's only given up 8 hits all season long. He comes from a 3/4 angle for those hitters. Sinker, very quick slider. He can control it. 22 strikeouts, just 4 base on balls this season for Carson Smith. He is another one of those really tough relievers for the Mariners.
This is only his 4th professional season. He came up with the Mariners last year and got in 9 games. Pitched a total of 8 1/3, allowed just 2 hits. So it'll be Goins, Kawasaki, and then top of the order. Dustin Smoke, the former Mariner, has a bat. He's sitting next to the hitting coach, Brooke Jacoby, and they're going over Carson Smith, what he features and what Smoke can look for. The Blue Jays are down by 3. Nasty little sinker for strike 1.
You can see where he throws it out of that arm slot. It's very difficult to pick the ball up. And he's got a lot of movement.
Base hit up the middle for Goins. A leadoff single. Ryan's been aboard twice tonight.
He's been looking a lot more comfortable at the plate. A couple of hits in last night's game, including a double. And now he's been on a couple of times tonight. Gets it started here in the 8th.
Munenori Kawasaki will bat. Gibbons may be hopeful of getting Kawasaki aboard and then using Smoke to hit for Carrera. Josh Donaldson is also available. He did not start this game. Smoke has come out on deck for Carrera. This could be 2. Taylor, Cano, back to Morrison, double play. Taylor made double play. Third double play turned by the Mariners tonight. Chris Taylor started it. Cano with the pivot. Morrison on the other end.
Gives him 33 now for the season. That was a Taylor made, and with Cano's great arm, finishes that one off. And now with the double play, they've pulled back Justin Smoke.
Ezequiel Carrera 0 for 3. He was retired on a bunt attempt in the 6th by Hernandez. Two and 0. Now it's 3-0, ball inside. Blue Jays had a 1-0 lead. First inning, a home run. And then the Mariners scored 3 2-out runs in the 4th, added a single run in the 6th. And there's the 2-out walk.
Boy, that'll drive you crazy if you're the manager. Give up a leadoff single, then you get the double play. Then you have a 4-pitch walk to the leadoff batter. Now you got to face the middle of that lineup. They're just trying to stay away from the tying run coming to the plate. If you are Lloyd McClendon, the manager of the Seattle Mariners, that's what you're trying to avoid.
Bautista takes strike 1. Jose has gone 0 for 2 with a walk. He walked his last time up against Hernandez. Found into the seats. It's 0-2. Of course, the Blue Jays' top of the order is loaded with big bats. Bautista then Encarnacion if Jose can keep the inning going.
And they will bring that tying run to the plate and a home run threat.
Bautista bounces it foul outside of third, an inside breaking ball. Pitch was certainly too close to take. Carrera will return to first. Blue Jays scored first, as we mentioned, with that 2-out first inning home run. When you look at the AL East, when the teams score first in 2015, the Blue Jays are 12-10. The Rays have the best record, 17-3. That reflects their good, strong bullpen.
They have a good bullpen. That definitely has something to do with that.
Taylor goes to second. The inning is over. Blue Jays get a leadoff single, but the double play erased that. Will go to the 9th. The Mariners have a 4-1 lead. Thank you very much, Jamie. We are in the ninth, and Steve Delabar indeed into the ball game. Ryan Tepera had a good inning in the eighth.
Delabar for the 7th time this year. Last time he was on the mound, he was pitching against the Angels. He gave up the big 2-out hit to Krause that scored a couple of runs. The difference in that game. That's the only hit this season that he has given up to a left-hander.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions about Delabar coming in to face Krause, but his numbers suggested he was a good matchup. He just left a break, well, that splitter up out over the plate, and Krause hit it for that 2-run double. The wild pitch in that at bat probably more costly than the hit itself, because it put the 2 base runners in position to score, and they both came in.
Yeah, and one of them, the guy at first base, was the go-ahead run in that game. Fastball, slider, splitter. When his splitter's working, when he's throwing it as hard as he does, he gets great movement on it and gets a majority of his strikeouts with it.
Logan Morrison fouls it back. A ball and 2 strikes. Delabar began the season AAA Buffalo. Made his season debut on the 5th of May. Delabar, a former Mariner. Blue Jays traded for him while they were in Seattle on the July trade deadline.
Yeah, it was a great trade for the Blue Jays. I think Eric Thames went across the field, became a Seattle Mariner. Steve Delabar became an All-Star.
He's All-Star in 2013. The trade took place in 2012. He just walked across the field and changed clubhouses. Full count. Strike 3 call. Morrison was halfway to first, looking back at Jim Wolf, and you can see he thought it was low. Delabar gets the strikeout.
Yeah, he asked him. Wasn't that ball low, and pointed. But according to Pitch Tracker says that ball was right at the knees, a fastball. That side view shows that it might have been below the knees.
Yeah, it looked like it was below the hollow of that knee.
There's Pitch Tracker. See that red dot there? Looked like it was right at the knees.
Morrison had a big 2-run triple in the 4th when Chris Colabello dove for a sinking liner, and it bounced all the way behind him. Mike Zunino followed up that triple with an RBI double. That was all in the 4th inning. There's a good fastball at 95.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be perfect. I think as long as he keeps the ball down with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball and wipeout splitter, he can be very effective.
Fernando Rodney, the closer for the Mariners, loosening up. Rodney is 10 for 11 in save opportunities. Chris Taylor, the shortstop, is on deck. He's batting 9th. High pop over near the seats. Valencia will watch it sail back out of play.
Heads up down there, Barry. He's got his glove on. Should have caught that one.
With the slider and walk the number 8 hitter. That'll bring Chris Taylor to the plate with 1 out. It's a 4-1 game. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth. It's Encarnacion, Martin, and Chris Colabello. So it's important to throw up a zero here in the top of the ninth.
Hold it right here. You're facing 7, 8, 9 in the order right here. Where you don't want to get to is Cano and Cruz. That's what you're trying to avoid, the two best hitters.
Justin Ruggiano is in the number 1 spot. He came in defensively for Brad Miller. There goes the runner. Russell Martin, a terrific throw.
Forget about the throw. The whole play was outstanding. He picked that ball in the dirt, a lot like a first baseman will go down and snatch a ball in the dirt. I think somebody missed a sign here. But he picks it like a first baseman and then throws a strike to get his 13th caught stealing this year. What a play.
Kawasaki waiting on the throw, and Zunino was thrown out easily. This is a fly ball to right. Colabello is there, so Russell Martin throws out another base runner. Delabar gets through the inning. Will go to the bottom of the ninth. Encarnacion, Russell Martin, Colabello against Fernando Rodney.
Up on the network here on Sportsnet 1, you will see Sportsnet Central on Sportsnet. It is the MasterCard Memorial Cup, Kelowna taking on Quebec. And on CBC right now, the Rangers and the Lightning. This is Game 4 with Tampa Bay leading that series 2-1. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Lots coming up right after this ball game. The Blue Jays down by 3 will face the Mariners closers. Got some ugly numbers, all except for the 10 of 11 in save opportunities.
Yeah, he's had a couple of bad outings that has inflated that earned run average to 5.87. You're right, still 10 for 11 in saves this season. Great strikeout number, his fastball changeup, that has been his MO for a while. Fernando Rodney, he was an all-star closer last season. He led the major leagues with 48 saves, becoming the first Mariners pitcher to lead the majors in saves, and he broke their team record set in 2001 by Kazuhiro Sasaki, who had 45 saves. Rodney had 48 of them last year.
So he's on trying to save it for Felix Hernandez. Hernandez would move to 7-1. Hernandez, with 7 innings of 4-hit ball, allowed 1 earned run, who walked 2 and struck out 8. His ERA drops to 2.19. Encarnacion responsible for that only run. He drives this one to right and deep, way back and off the wall. Encarnacion is headed for second. He'll get there standing up with a leadoff double. Man at second, nobody out. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Thank you very much, Ken and Ivanka, and that's all coming up right after the game.
Edwin homered in the first, gets on top of that high pitch from Rodney. Hits it off the wall for extra bases. Good start in the ninth for the Jays.
Russell Martin takes the first pitch strike. But outside, it's 1-1 to Martin.
If you can be patient against Fernando Rodney, he will give you a chance to get him. He'll give up his share of hits, he'll give up his share of walks, but you have to be patient with him.
That's a great changeup right on the outside corner, about knee high.
Yeah, you talk about Felix Hernandez changeup being good. This guy's changeup is pretty good too. And it's a tough combination. Fastball, hard, right over the top, and a dead fish changeup.
Martin pops it up right behind home, and Zunino makes the catch. That's the first out of the inning. Colabello will come up. Martin's retired on the pop-out. Colabello is 2 for 3 tonight. Colabello has not faced Fernando Rodney, but he knows all about him.
Yep, he's a baseball guy. Colabello, very smart. You're going to have to work him, make him throw a lot of pitches.
Jumps ahead with a fastball. Josh Donaldson did not start in this game. There's the changeup. Identical arm action. He's got fastball arm action and changeup velocity. It's a tough combination.
And plenty of fastball too. That if you're looking for the changeup and you're sitting on it, he'll throw the fastball right by you. You just have to look for the baseball. You got to look for it up in the strike zone.
He got a piece of it and stays alive. Seattle leads it 4-1. We'll be right back here tomorrow afternoon for Game 2. James Paxson for the Mariners. Mark Burley for the Blue Jays. Took a shot at that inside and missed.
There's that fastball, 97, up and in. Versus the right-handers, it's about 70-30 fastball, changeup. Lefties, it changes. It's about 60-40. So he throws more changeups to the left-handers, more fastballs to the right-handers.
There's another fastball. Colabello almost walked into it. You got to believe that he's going to get a changeup. He always pitches to get to that out pitch.
And he'll throw it in fastball counts, fastball situations.
There it is. Deep drive to left. This is out of here. Colabello, a 2-run home run. Second home run of the season for Chris Colabello, and just like that, it's a one-run game.
And that was a no-doubter right there. He had to be thinking changeup in his mind. Remember when he was almost hit with the fastball? Tells me that he was thinking changeup, and he got it, 3-2. And he covered it.
A 3-hit night for Chris Colabello.
Watch the changeup. Right off the fingertips. Right in the sweet spot for Colabello. Good recognition. Keeps his hands back. Puts it in the stands.
Ball on a strike to Kevin Pillar. He pushes it up the first base line. Morrison waits, and umpires say safe. Morrison said he tagged him, and he's going to ask for a challenge.
Logan Morrison was waiting. He was just waiting for that ball to get to him.
Jerry Davis, the first base umpire, is the crew chief, and he's called for a conference among the umpires. Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, had the look. And now, Lloyd McClendon wants the challenge. After the conference, Jerry Davis met with the umpiring crew, and they had decided that he was safe. So now McClendon comes out and asks for a video challenge.
I don't know if he
challenge the call.
You see, he was waiting for that ball to get there, and he got him right on the foot.
He got him on the foot.
Right on the foot. I think the conference was, did he run out of the baseline? Did he slide out of the baseline? Everything's fine. Look at the leap by Pillar, and then right at the last minute, you see him just touch that pant leg. And it looks like they're going to reverse this one. What a attempt by both Morrison and Pillar.
Well, the crowd's reacting here at Rogers Center. They saw the initial tag and miss of the body, but Morrison stayed with the play and actually tagged Pillar on the foot.
Yeah, he missed him first time, and there people were cheering, but then the second time, they saw what we saw. And it looked like it hit him right in the ankle, right at the pant leg.
So now the ball players know it's out of their hands. They've done everything they can do. Pillar with a great effort. And watch the slide by Pillar in the tag. Right, and now they have indicated out. So the challenge wins out for Seattle. Lloyd McClendon, he got the heads up from his first baseman, Logan Morrison, who said, hey, man, I tagged him. So now there are 2 outs. Morrison with a good play at first. Josh Donaldson. He'll bat for Danny Valencia. Donaldson is 0 for 4 against Rodney. And you can bet he's been sitting on that bench putting together a game plan for this at-bat.
Yeah, he knew that if he was going to get in this game, and if he was going to pinch hit, it was going to be against this guy right here. You can go up and look at some video, look at the scouting report. But you have to have an idea. It looks like Rodney wants to stay away from his power. Outfield is deep. They don't want anything over their heads.
Donaldson's been swinging a hot bat. 3 home runs in his last 15 games. And a .310 average. Seattle has a 4-3 lead. 3-0. Justin Smoke, the switch hitter, has come out on deck. Donaldson goes after the 3-0 pitch and hits it to center. That's the ball game. Rodney picks up his 11th save. The Blue Jays with a home run in the 9th lose another tough one-run game, 4-3 for Seattle.
Well, when you're up against Felix Hernandez, you know runs are going to be hard to come by. He pitches 7 innings, gives up 1 hit, 8 runs. Hitting hero, I think, tonight for the Mariners, Nelson Cruz with a home run and a double. They turn it over the bullpen and they win game 1 of the series.
Rodney picks up save number 11 for Felix Hernandez. He's now 7-1. The Mariners win game 1 of this 3-game series. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central. Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman.